Hello and welcome to the Driver Hire podcast. My name's Tony from Driver Hire Croydon and Sutton.
Hello, I'm Gary from Driver Hire in Colchester.
We represent two of Driver Hire Nationwide's network of over 100 offices. We decided to get together to create a series of regular podcasts for people who want to know more about driver hire, but principally to provide hints, tips and tricks to help our drivers be the very best that they can be. Hi Gary, how you doing?
Very well, Tony. How are things with you this week?
Oh, brilliant. Well, I've actually got some really good news, which is that we passed 500 listeners last week.
Wow, Tony, I am surprised. I didn't think we'd get to 500 so quick.
Pleasantly surprised. But hopefully that means that there's plenty of people out there that are enjoying this and picking up some good information from it.
Well, let's hope so, and let's hope they carry on listening and enjoying what we're putting out for them to listen to.
So this week's episode is all about securing the load, which follows on from what we were talking about last week.
I thought you were picking on me last week, Tony, saying talking about all this weight.
No, not you, Gary, the load.
That's fine, Tony. I am not offended.
Okay, so we've got all this weight on the vehicle, Gary. What we need to do is stop it moving around. So how do we do that?
Well, I thought just pulling the curtains was enough, Tony.
No, I know that you know that it isn't. I'll tell you a funny story, actually. Well, I'll tell you the story. You can tell me if it's funny. So I was back in that. I think I may have told you before. I passed my test in '89, and this was long before the days of CPC. A driver today, when they first pass their test, has to take 4 separate tests. Back in my day, it was 1. But those 4 parts of the test include something called CPC initial qualification. And the 4th part of the test is a load safety demonstration, where they have to demonstrate to an examiner that they understand about the safety of the vehicle, but also they demonstrate to the examiner that they know how to strap a load down with a ratchet strap, for example, or how to use a load restraint bar, or indeed how to tie a load down with chains. So that just didn't exist back in the day. And so I think CPC is a brilliant step forward in that regard. But when I passed my test, I passed just before Christmas, 23rd of December, 1989. So I got lots of Yorkie bars for Christmas from my friends who all thought it was really funny. But what I also got from my sister was a little book called the HGV Novices Guide. So not only is this pre-CPC, it's pre-internet, pre-YouTube, pre-anything really. And in this little book, amongst many other things, it had pictures of how to tie dolly knots and how to put a sheet over a load, how to envelope the back of the sheet, and how to do the spread dollies and all that kind of stuff. And I got a call asking if I could deliver some timber the next day, and I was asked if I could rope and sheet. And so me, with my stupid young bravado, said, yes, of course I can do that. No problem at all.
Is that with your little book as well, Tony?
Yes. So I put the phone down, thought, great, I've got work for tomorrow, brilliant. Then I thought, right, I now need to get that book out and learn how to rope and sheet. So I lived with my parents at the time. I went down to my father's garage, got a big block of wood. I found 20 cup hooks, measured it all out and screwed in 10 cup hooks down either side of this big block of wood. I got a bit of sash cord, tied a loop in one end, and then literally spent the entire evening sitting on the sofa with this big block of wood on my lap, putting the rope over to the next cup hook on the other side, tying the dolly, pulling it down over the top, other side, because I wanted to make sure that not only did I know how to tie the knots and everything, I was going to look like I've been doing it for years when I turned up. Anyway, turned up at the job the next morning, vehicle's loaded, the timber's on it, can see it in the yard. I've got into the office, but it's not tied down at all. I asked where the ropes were. He said, ropes? We haven't got any ropes. You'll find the ratchet straps in the footwell of the cab. So I had absolutely no idea how to use a ratchet strap.
So your book didn't help you then because you've been practicing on the roping and sheeting.
Yeah, exactly. But that brings me to an interesting point about ratchet straps, because the rope is pretty much obsolete in road transport now, and it's been replaced by the ratchet strap. And that's for a very good reason, because ratchet straps are safety rated. They all have a label on them that shows their lashing capacity. The labels are color-coded for the type of material they're made out of, and obviously the operator is going to buy ratchet straps appropriate to the load that's being carried. But we found out something interesting about lashing capacities in our research for this episode, which, funnily enough, neither of us were aware of before yesterday. They have a label on there, a safety label on there, and it says when the strap was manufactured, but it also has a rating on there, which is measured in something called decanewtons, and this is the lashing capacity of that strap. So that decanewton measurement doesn't actually correlate directly to the weight of the load that you can lash down with it. So if you had a strap, for example, of 2,500 decanewtons, that doesn't mean that can hold a load of 2,500 kilograms, and that would be an easy mistake to make. It actually, as a rough rule of thumb, you can double that. So a strap with a lashing capacity of 2,500 decanewtons can secure a load of 5,000 kilograms as a rough rule of thumb. But the most important thing to look for is, yes, of course, it should have that safety information on the strap. But the most important thing to look for really is the condition of the strap.
Yes, very much so. Wear and tear on the straps is something I look at far more than anything else. If you're moving bricks and blocks, they wear, they fray, and if they are in poor condition, they aren't fit for purpose, and we shouldn't be using them. So look at the strap, look when it's in date, get an idea of what its low capacity is, look at the condition of it.
That's right, yeah. And you'll often be provided with either a padded sleeve that goes over the strap to put on the corner points where the strap's going over the edge of perhaps that pallet of blocks or something. Or sometimes you just get plastic corners that you sit on the edge of that pallet so that the straps aren't rubbing on those corners and wearing them out.
One of my issues with some of my clients, I'll get a phone call, is, where have them corners gone from that vehicle? And I'm thinking, what corners? All the four corners must all be on the vehicle. And of course, they're talking about the internal strapping systems they've got to stop all their straps fraying and so on.
Yeah, no, it must be really expensive replacing those straps all the time with all those frayed edges.
They soon go through them on bricks and blocks.
Yeah.
Tony, one of the things that does bug me, we've talked about looking at the condition of the straps and so on, is failing to strap full stop. When you get pulled by DVSA and they look around the vehicle, we've talked in the past on their other podcasts, they look for certain things. And the most important thing is that you have a strap over that load. Every pallet you fail to have secured will cause you a fine. And it's a fine that hurts your pocket and hurts your earnings.
But again, they're for a very good reason, for the safety of you and other road users. So really important.
Very much so. A curtain will not stop a pallet of bricks falling out. They will rip through them. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's really great to be talking to you again this week, Tony, and I'd like to thank all the listeners for the numbers we've received. Over the 500 has been great. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, brilliant. And the feedback's been great too. So if you have enjoyed it, please do rate, review and subscribe. And we look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thank you very much, Tony. Speak soon.
You've been listening to the Driver Hire Podcast, and thank you very much.
And as goodbye from myself, Gary Richards at the Colchester office.
And from me, Tony Goacher, from the Croydon and Sutton office. If you'd like to get in touch with us, along with all the other driver hire offices, you can find us at driverhire.co.uk.
Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.